Governor Nick Van Osten from the New York Times, you know what I'm probably going to ask about. Can you tell us about your conversations with President Trump when you spoke to him most recently? You spoke to him about the race. Did he call you? Did you call him?
Yeah, I read.
A little light on this.
I got it. I get the whole gossip and the intrigue and President Trump, et cetera. I can't remember the last time I spoke to President Trump. I did call and leave word after the assassination attempt, just expressing concern. I left word. I didn't speak to him at that time. I've never spoken to him about the mayor's race. I have spoken to him when I was governor dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of times, right? We went through COVID together. I went to the White House on numerous occasions. So we've had very intimate dealings on many levels and many difficult, contentious confrontations, as you all know, because you were there. And we've also done productive work together, I believe. On the entire topic, look, if you want to play palace intrigue, you have Mayor Adams, who's running, who is a wholly owned subsidiary of President Trump, right? You have Curtis Sliwa, who's a Republican, and President Trump is head of the Republican Party. And then you have the Assemblyman, who I think politically, this is my opinion, the Republicans would have a field day if New York City elected Mayor Mamdani. Because they would use him politically. You know, they do a poster of Mamdani the commie, right? They call him a commie. They run around the country and say the Democratic Party lost its mind. They're electing socialists. They're electing extremists. So I think politically they would have a field day with it. I also think President Trump meant what he said, and it was a quip. But he said something to the effect of, well, then I would have to take over New York City, right, if Mamdani was elected. I think there's something to that. I think he would say New York City has a crime problem, New York City has an immigration problem, New York City just elected a communist mayor who has no experience, and the federal government has to come in to help. I think it would be like Los Angeles on steroids, right? Well, the federal government has to come in. I think the president would like to have control of New York City. I think that's why he did what he did with Mayor Adams, right? Why get involved with Mayor Adams, who's charged criminally, and come in personally and come up with this very unusual arrangement? Well, you'll drop the charges conditioned on his cooperation with your administration. Why would you do that? Because he wants control of New York City. Why did he take over the Penn Station project? Because he wants control of New York City. Why does he want control of New York City? Because he's from New York City, and New York is New York. That's why. So I think he would use Mayor Mamdani, if that were to happen, as a reason to exert much more federal authority. And again, Los Angeles on steroids, and he would point to the problems, which he could do, the inexperience, et cetera, and the politics of it. I believe that would happen. For myself, as I said, I used the expression yesterday, the day before. I said during COVID, I had a dysfunctional a relationship with the president that was like a dysfunctional marriage. It's a joke. Every morning you get up and it's the same person, it's the same conversation. We went through a very, very difficult time with COVID. I've had a lot of arguments, disputes, differences of opinion with President Trump about COVID, about the time when he was considering quarantine for New York, which would have been devastating, about tax policy vis-a-vis New York, about aid to New York. There is no doubt that we have had many contentious issues. And for me, it's very simple. What I would do as mayor, I would defend New York 100% with everything I have learned and know, and with every ounce of strength. And I know a lot about government because I've done it all my life. I've been in the federal government. I was a cabinet secretary. I ran the state. I know the city. So my knowledge gives me an ability to be in a formidable position as an opponent for the president. But also, at the same time, I would try to work with the president where we could, right? He's the president. We need the federal government. There's a lot of good things he can do for the city. So I get the political desire to demonize, right? We're in an election. I get that. And I understand that, and nobody has had more contentious relationships with President Trump than I have. I don't think any governor in the country had more contentious relationships. But at the same time, he could be very, very helpful to New York City. So defend anything that offends New York values. But if you can find a way to work together, and he can help New York City, then you work together. I represent all New Yorkers, and that was my position from day one with President Trump. And I said publicly as governor, I will defend New York with my life. And you're a tough guy, I'm a tough guy. But I'll put my hand out to work together in partnership. I said that on day one, and I say that today.
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo recently expressed concerns about the potential impact of Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani becoming mayor of New York City. In a candid discussion, Cuomo described his past interactions with President Donald Trump and the likelihood that Trump's influence would grow if Mamdani, whom he referred to as a socialist, were elected. Cuomo began by recalling his frequent interactions with Trump during his time as governor, noting that they had both productive and contentious exchanges. Despite the political differences, Cuomo highlighted that Trump could potentially use Mamdani's election as a reason to exert greater federal control over New York City, especially in light of its crime and immigration issues. The former governor acknowledged the political dynamics at play, mentioning that figures like Mayor Eric Adams and Curtis Lewa are already politically aligned with Trump, which positions Mamdani as an outlier. Cuomo argued that if Mamdani became mayor, it would allow Republicans to further politicize New York City's leadership, potentially labeling him as a communist or an extremist and amplifying the city's struggles to the rest of the country. In his remarks, Cuomo referenced a comment Trump once made about taking over New York City if Mamdani were to win, stating that the city's problems, particularly crime and political inexperience, would prompt Trump to argue for federal intervention. Cuomo believes that Trump sees New York City as a place where he can increase his influence, as evidenced by his involvement in various city projects like the Penn Station overhaul. Despite the contentious history between Cuomo and Trump, marked by disagreements over COVID-19 policy, taxes, and federal aid, Cuomo made it clear that he would fight for New York City as mayor. He described his approach as one of collaboration where possible, emphasizing his extensive knowledge of government and the city's needs. Cuomo insisted that while he would defend New York's values and resist anything that goes against them, he would also extend a hand to work with the federal government when it benefits the city. Cuomo's comments reflected his firm belief that New York City needs a mayor who can navigate the complexities of both state and federal politics. His experience, he argued, would allow him to be a formidable leader, capable of defending the city while also collaborating with the federal government when necessary.